AI seems to be getting into absolutely everything at this point, but if you're EA, well, it's in the game. This comes off the back of the news we've just learned that Microsoft is going to be using a new AI language model called Muse AI. And what is it for? Well, Microsoft want to use it to try and revitalize old games and try and bring those old games from older platforms into the new platforms. The selling point here is that the concept is that these games are trapped in dead old hardware that users either don't have access to, don't maybe have a functioning model of, or simply just forgotten. And as a result, this old hardware has a treasure trove of old games that haven't been either remastered or brought forward with the new generation, new cycles. And Microsoft want to use AI to try and bring these games into modern day consoles. Now, this has kind of been their first initial selling point, and this is the thing they've been kind of talking about. And the idea is this is under this guise of game preservation, and that is an incredibly noble concept and idea. We see a lot of consoles, a lot of games, and a lot of wonderful franchises kind of left by the wayside until enough nostalgia washes over public sentiment and just forces developers and publishers alike to finally either remaster a classic beloved franchise or, you know, completely bring it back for a whole remake. But this is not going to be the case for Microsoft by the looks of things. However, this is not the only thing Microsoft are using the AI for. They've also talked about the fact that this will be used in modern game day development as well, which doesn't necessarily fill me with a lot of hope or a lot of joy, as myself and a lot of people on the internet find the use of generative AI to be an absolutely appalling and disgusting abuse of people's creative work and time and effort, as the actual algorithms and programs that these were all built off were off of creators' data that was never given permission to be used in the first place for. And also has concerns in the fact that these language models tend to work off a sets of data that can't really evolve or adapt. They kind of just regurgitate what has already been done, which can be stagnated at a point, because at that point, if they're only going to learn and redevelop off their own ideas, they're only going to be working off that language set, and that is going to be essentially in a state of limbo. So the first game we see Microsoft actually apply Muse AI to is Bleeding Edge, which is an online arena game that actually, when looking into this news, was actually pretty well received. There was a lot of people who really liked that game and were kind of sad that it had such a short lifespan. Them and Ninja Theory are going in and seeing if Muse AI can bring a little bit more life to the game, and if this actual AI model can be adapted and used to revive games that sadly may have been dead on arrival or dead in general, and bring a bit more life back into them. This isn't the first time we've seen AI even really kind of enter the sort of gaming sphere in any capacity. I mean, for example, Nvidia use AI all the time in their graphics cards, as well as actually AMD with their super resolution, to essentially provide more performance to gamers for the means of basically rendering, upscaling imagery from lower resolutions to higher resolutions to provide a higher fidelity gameplay without sacrificing on the required performance of raw horsepower in the graphics cards. But as well as that there, EA have also been adopting AI by the looks of things. EA themselves had an annual investor talk where they actually talked about how EA was going to be using AI, and it started off as simple as things like using AI to help with The Sims in their Sims hub, to help creators and players discover and find new content created by average everyday individuals, as well as content creators on the platform. But on top of that, they also showed language models that were doing, if I wouldn't even call it advanced scripting, because I don't think it's that advanced, but essentially scripting for algorithmic storytelling. That way they can use the actual tools to basically branch out an actual narrative path inside the video games that they were planning on working on. on. And as well as that, there showed a rather simplistic, if not kind of crude look at the use of prompt generation to then create characters for their games. Putting simple prompts such as man with gun or something as low and generic as that there to generate assets through prompt generation. This is a bit concerning because obviously, again, as I said before, in my personal opinion, it's a bit, let's just say, stagnated in its concept, because at the end of the day, the data can only do so much based off what data it already has, and AI has already proven to not necessarily be creative so much as just a gap filler for lazy people, essentially, in my opinion. But as AI seems to be injecting itself into more and more creative projects, and we're seeing the adoption with that through EA and also now Microsoft through its Muse AI, it does beg the question, is this actually the future of video games? Do you think that AI can actually be used for a force of positive inside the gaming space in the ways that we've seen EA adopt it and the way Microsoft planned to do so? Or do you, much like myself, feel like this is a bit of a concerning route that publishers and developers are taking, and that we probably should not be fostering the use of lazy, uninspired, and at times morally questionable tools that have stolen from actual creators just to feed its algorithm? Let me know what you think in the comments section down below. Of course, if you like the video, hit the like button, that way you don't miss it on the videos as they go live. On top of that there, you can also hit the subscribe button as well and see more as they come out. Top of that there, we actually stream to this channel as well regularly throughout the week, so if you want to see a live stream coming in and chat with me, you can do so by hitting the subscribe button. But if it's not your thing here, we're on the purple platform as well. You can check it, there's a link in the actual description down below. It's PVG on Twitch. Anyway folks, go give it a follow. Hopefully I see you either on the next video or, well, hey, the next live stream. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll speak to you soon. Peace.